Welcome to this episode of the Connecting Faith to Life podcast. I'm Trey Rhodes, the Connections Pastor at Northwood Baptist Church here in North Charleston, South Carolina. In just a few moments, our lead pastor, Dr. Tommy Metter, will be joining the conversation as well. In our crazy and chaotic world, our hope is that these few minutes will help you stop and reflect on your relationship with Jesus as you learn to connect Christ-centered faith to your everyday life. And we are on episode 226 of the Connecting Faith to Life podcast, if you're counting, and I hope some of you are, as you count up and get caught up with Connecting Faith to Life.
And next week will be significant because we'll be 227.
Okay. And next week it'll be very significant because of 227. So be sure and listen next week.
Do you remember there was, back in the 80s, 90s, a TV show called 227?
I do not. I didn't watch TV, man. I still don't watch TV.
Well,
anyway,
I'm just saying 227. It was a great show back in the day.
I'll bet it was.
Yeah.
All right. So
you remember that, Jay?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to introduce our guests. We have including one of my best friends. His name is Jay Glasgow, and he is the pastor at Gethsemane Baptist Church, a lead pastor there. And we're going to be talking to him about the exciting things that are going there and what God is doing. And so, Pastor, I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you and let you take over, and you can just do whatever you need to do.
You've disappointed me today, Pops.
What did I do wrong?
Just not knowing 227.
Okay, well, I will do some research and I'll find out, and I'll know all things 227.
Well, Pops is having a hard time. 227. You still haven't learned how to use your MacBook yet.
Yeah, I agree with that now.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
He had a computer for 45 years, the same computer.
No, not the same, just the same system, Windows. And now I'm using Apple. So
we talked him into getting a MacBook.
System.
We bought him a MacBook because we want everybody on staff to have MacBooks.
And I really do appreciate it.
And he is struggling. I thought it would just be a really easy transition for you. Anybody, I mean, a 2-year-old can use a MacBook.
I agree, but I'm so used to complex. They go, all you have to do is that. And I go, oh.
He keeps touching the screen, and it doesn't do anything.
Because I've always had touch screens, computers. But anyway, there you go.
I appreciate you trying to.
I am doing my best, brother. I'm doing my best.
Well, we do have Jay with us on the podcast today. Jay is the pastor at Gethsemane Baptist. Jay was the student pastor here at Northwood. Most of you know that if you're part of our faith family for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, 5-6 years, right?
7 years altogether.
Because you were here before I came.
Correct.
And then, so 7 years and did a jam-up job with our students. And
he's the first one that got me into ministry here at Northwood. Oh, yeah? So he actually asked me.
Because you started serving with the students.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did, yeah.
And you're still serving with the students.
I sure am. In a small role, but that's okay. Whatever I can do to serve.
And Jay did a really good job of that here. What Jay did a great job of while he was with us as our student minister is getting other people involved in the ministry. He did a great job of getting lots of volunteers up there to help out. And part of it was by necessity because he works full-time as a hospice chaplain, so he needed all the help he could get. But part of it also because he's just a great leader and knows how to mobilize people.
Amen.
And did a wonderful job with that. And so we, as a church, sent him and his wife over to Gethsemane Baptist a year or so ago. Well, it's been about a year, I guess, huh?
February is when I officially started.
So, February coming up will be a year. And he's been the pastor over there trying to help that church to live again, and they're living.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
It's been really
to watch it happen.
He went over there, and some of our best people went along with him for the journey, and they're doing a good work. And so
Amen.
What we're trying to do at Northwood is we had a meeting last night with some of our ministry leaders and just thinking about vision for next year and what God wants to continue to do in the life of our church. We're asking God to allow us to be a blessing to other churches in our community, to help other churches live again. We're creating a family of churches where Gethsemane, Northwood, we're distinct, autonomous churches, but at the same time trying to figure out how to radically partner together. They share resources, to share people for the glory of God so that lots of people in our community will be reached. And so Gethsemane is in the days ahead. We're going to try to continue to be very strategic with them. And I'm meeting this coming up week with another church in our area that wants us to come in and help them to live again. And so I think over the next few years, we're going to have the opportunity to be a great blessing to a lot of churches. And we talked about last night here at Northwood how that is going to require us being willing to let some people go.
Right.
To send people out. For the sake of the mission.
And I can say as a pastor, even though you know it's a good thing,
Yeah.
and you know that this is not this is God's thing.
Yeah.
It's still difficult
Yeah.
as a pastor because you have a pastor's heart and a shepherd's heart, and you want to hold your people in and keep them there. And we've done the same thing at times in my former church. It's just hard to lose.
It's hard,
people.
but you know it's the right thing.
Well, we sent them out
it's
anyway.
A blessing for the sake of the kingdom.
Yes.
So Jay, it's good to have you today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So give us the update. Talk to us about the last, I guess, 10 months, 9 months, however long you've been there. You started by just going there and preaching every Sunday. We sent you out there, and you were kind of a long-term supply preacher, and then it turned into the pastoring gig. What's it been like, man?
It's been exciting to see what God's been up to. There's been a lot of challenges along the way, but a lot of victories as well. A lot of people have been mobilizing together.
Yeah.
Really, to put things in perspective, Gethsemane, there were a good core group of people there. They were faithful. I'm surprised in some ways they were able to keep the church doors open,
Right.
but they certainly loved the Lord, and they loved their church. And when you initially, connected with them about helping them live again, they were at that point willing to do whatever it took to thrive for the future. And so in going there, to put it in perspective, they had not had a baptism in close to 10 years.
And so that's wild to think about.
That is, they did not have any children or youth at the time.
Yeah.
It was mainly senior citizens, except for one younger couple. Since February, Lord's just done some neat, incredible things. There have been 8 people that have trusted Christ and subsequently been baptized. Eric and Nicole White came over to Gethsemane from Northwood. Nicole is doing an outstanding job
Amen.
as children's
She is.
director, and we have a functioning children's ministry now. She met with our volunteers this past Sunday to kind of cast vision even for the future of the children's group. This past summer, we had a vacation Bible school.
And that was the first time they had one of those in years too, right?
Quite a few years, yes. And I believe we had about 34 or 35 children participate in
Glorious.
that.
That's glorious.
And two children ended up accepting Christ.
God.
One actually from here in Northwood and was baptized here at Northwood, and then one at Gethsemane.
And thank you for doing our work, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll all do it together. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And so, and you've started a student ministry now. So 2 of our people are there. Chuck and Dana Bowers came over, and that's going pretty well too, right?
Yes, it sure is. So Chuck and Dana were 11th and 12th grade Life Connection group teachers here at Northwood for well over 10 years, I believe. Had so many connections here, but they really felt called to go over to Gethsemane and help launch a student ministry. Yeah. And so we're calling it the Crave Student Ministry. They're meeting on Sunday nights at 6:00. They've had anywhere from, I think, a high of 16 to low of 4, usually in between. They are overseeing things. They're planning special events. They already had a special event with Northwood with the pumpkin hunt. They're planning on coming to the Christmas tree lighting. But every week, the students are able to gather in a small group fellowship. We've been using some of young men from our congregation at Gethsemane that are wanting to go into ministry to do some teaching with the students. So they're actually doing the preaching. Right now they're going through the book of Philippians. And Josh and Herbie are a couple of the young men, and another young man named Andrew.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So you think about this past 10 months that you've been there as the pastor, or I guess 8 months, I can't do math, however long it's been, since February. For you, what have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced?
I think just some of the challenges are trying to launch some activity from where there hasn't been any in a while.
Yeah. That's tough.
Well, let me ask you this question before you continue that. Prior to this experience, how many churches have you revitalized?
0.
Yeah, so you walk into a situation where, the call of God was there, the opportunity was there, but you ain't ever done this before, right? Now, obviously, we're trying to help you along the way as we can and give you resources and people, but it's different. It's different than Northwood, and, you were here, and you had ministry experience prior to Northwood and had been in some very different situations. Here you were in a very healthy situation, and then walk over there and do something you had never done before. I mean, that in and of itself, I'm sure, has been a challenge. Just the learning curve, and then working full time on top of that. And we all joke about it, but it's pretty true, right? Like, you're the guy that never sleeps. You sleep 30 minutes a night or something ridiculous like that. You're like Batman. You get more, and you hang upside down to get the blood going to your head and go about your day. But you got all this stuff going on, and so I would imagine just the challenge of doing something you've never done before has probably been pretty big, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a learning curve, as you already indicated, and it's something, considering that I'm bivocational in the pastoring. I have another full-time job where I was working 50 hours a week, and then trying to give attention to a congregation that has been struggling, and there's a lot of work that goes into revitalization. At the end of the day, you need other people to help out along the way. I'm so grateful for Northwood and their support. I'm grateful for the folks at Gethsemane that have been willing to follow my leadership along the way. And then ultimately, I mean, all praise has to go to God. Amen. Because
that's right.
Nothing's going to happen there unless it's the Lord doing it.
Yeah, yeah. But that's where you're really gifted. You're really gifted at getting other people to come alongside you and work alongside you. You've done that with Eric and Nicole and with Chuck and Dana, and there's others in that church, people that left Northwood to go and help you. You've done a good job of mobilizing them, and they support you. I know the people from our church who've gone over there with you love you and appreciate, and that's why they're there, because they believe in what you're doing. They believe in what we as a church are doing as we're helping churches to grow again. But what other challenges have been there over this past few months? Like, what have been the big things? Just the newness of a work that you haven't done before. What else?
I would say the merging of cultures.
Yeah.
Gethsemane obviously had a long-term history and a culture. Okay. That culture may or may not have been always healthy at times. And then you've had a huge influx of people from Northwood come in, as well as just some people that have joined us that were previously not affiliated with Gethsemane or Northwood, and trying to merge these different people and different cultures into one it is kind of a challenge. I was very affirmed last night. We had our Tuesday night Great Commission prayer meeting, and there was a gentleman, and he doesn't usually speak a whole lot, but he made a comment last night that he was grateful that the different groups, or basically two different groups, are starting to merge in one, and we're starting to go in one direction. And that was very affirming to hear.
Wow, that's
and
big.
that came from, one of the Gethsemane legacy folks.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
That's
big.
Good.
Praise the Lord.
That's good. So from your perspective, like, you think about it, that bringing together different cultures, and you think about you being there, you think about a Chuck and Dana, you think about a Don and Gary. Don was our former children's director who's gone over there to help with you guys. I know she's working alongside Nicole in a lot of ways with children's ministry. Gary was one of our deacons who served here faithfully for a number of years. Their family grew up in our church, like this is what they know, but they took a step of faith and came over there with you. I think about some others in our church, like Miss Alice, who came over there pretty regular. She's had some health issues here as of late, but would come to Northwood for the first service and then head over to Gethsemane, and just a real inspiration. She's in her mid to late 80s and just serving Jesus well. Think about the Packwoods who've come over, who were really involved here and came over there. They're former IMB missionaries and have come over to your church. He's a former missions pastor as well, and they're serving some way. So you've got some great families that have come over to Gethsemane, and they're very used to a culture here, right? I think about Don and Gary, or the Bowers in particular, who this is the church they know, and a very healthy, thriving situation to walk into that. And then you have them merging together of like you said, a culture of Gethsemane that was a little bit different than ours. And how have you seen our people respond to being there?
I think they've really dove in full speed ahead.
Yeah.
They understand that there are challenges, but they understand that they're called there.
Yeah.
They feel the call of God to go over there, because it's not like they were upset at Northwood or they didn't appreciate what was going on. All the folks that you mentioned, and Lillian Reyes would also be included
as well. That's right.
in that number. we're very connected here at Northwood and love Northwood. And I don't think anyone really desired to leave Northwood. I didn't desire to leave Northwood either. But when you have the call of God on your life to engage in ministry, I think that helps sustain you when things do get difficult or maybe things aren't as exciting as you would like them to be. Yeah. It's holding on to that call. Like, okay, we're being obedient to the Lord. This may not be as big as we'd like it to be or exciting as we'd like it to be, but we're doing what the Lord wants us to do during this season of life.
Yeah. But you think about it, so you've had some challenges, and there will continue to be challenges because you're trying to help a church live again. And challenges are the cultures coming together. You think about the challenges of what happens as you grow in a church that's not used to growth, kind of experiencing that for the first time. You think about the challenges. It's in some ways like Northwood, you've got an older facility, and trying to renovate an older facility and make sure that, when air conditionings go out, you can afford to pay for it, or whatever the case may be. So you've got all these challenges. But in the midst of challenges, you've seen some victories. You've seen 8 people come to faith in Christ. We've seen the church grow. You've seen new people come to the church. So there's much more life there than there was, obviously, over the last decade or two. And so what other victories have you seen? Like, what are the things you say, man, God is really doing this in the life of Gethsemane? We've
started a discipleship program over there. I won't even call it a discipleship program per se, but we're discipling people. You had mentioned Ms. Alice before. She helped initially launch a ladies group, but before health issues took over for her, but that's been handed off. Linda is taken over that. At this point, we have a couple of guys groups going for discipleship. So that's a big victory, and it was interesting. Linda was not feeling well the other night, and of course Ms. Alice was out, and then a couple of other ladies that we use sometimes for substitute couldn't be there, so I ended up actually leading the ladies group.
There you go.
Well, that would be interesting.
The other night. But what was fascinating about that, just to kind of get through that particular topic, and it was The King Arrives. Right. It's the same curriculum that y'all use here. Was a comment made by one of the legacy Gethsemane folks. I've been going to church my whole life, and I never knew how the Old Testament fit into the New Testament.
It's a big deal.
And to see the people grow in their faith, and even start to read the Bible for the first time. We had a read through the New Testament in 90 days sheet here at Northwood for our student ministry. Well, we adopted that over at Gethsemane and challenged the entire congregation to do it. And one of the deacons' wives was one of the ones that engaged in that. And she said she had never systematically read through the Bible before. Yeah. And she said it was just amazing to read through the New Testament. Incredible. And it's little things like that are victorious, where you see spiritual growth, where you see people understanding more and more about the Lord and falling more in love with Him.
Amen.
And I think that takes care of a lot of things, because it's really easy to keep your focus off the Lord and maybe on the machinery of a church or a church bylaw or constitution or stuff like that, which doesn't necessarily always have anything to do with the actual ministry. And so people are now focusing on the Lord more. And that's victorious. I mean, there's some other victories along the way. Just this past Saturday, we had a fall festival. It wasn't anything as nearly as large as like the trunk or treat that you guys had here at Northwood, but it was the first time in quite a while that we put together as Gethsemane folks on our own a major event. And now we identified some areas where we could improve upon, but it was a fun day. We had some people that were not affiliated with Northwood or affiliated with Gethsemane. They just heard about the fall festival, or they were invited. And so it was a great opportunity to minister to children. We had games for the folks at Gethsemane to put on an event for the entire community. We had a chili cook-off, hot dogs, face painting, a jumpy castle. It was just a fun day to be had by all.
There you go.
That's good, man. That's good.
That's some good things.
What about the next year? Think about the next year. What are some big things you guys are looking forward to in the next year that are going to help to continue to see the church revitalized.
In the next year, we want to formally join, the Northwood family of churches and really make that official. Yeah. Put some feet to that, and I think that'll be mutually beneficial for both congregations.
Yeah.
Along the way, we'll be updating our bylaws so they'll be more functional. Yeah. Moving forward. But in terms of ministry, we are looking to expand our children's ministry and our student ministry. Along the way, we are excited that there are some young men that want to go into gospel ministry. So I'm meeting with 3 young men Sunday nights at 5:00, and I'm just calling it Ministry Matters, and we're just talking about various issues related to ministry. One young man, Herbie, he's going to Southern Seminary, so we will be losing him, but we're excited for that. He's launching into serving Christ. Another young man, he's in seminary right now, and so we're giving him more teaching opportunities and just trying to unleash folks. So we're certainly pumped up that people are catching the vision of what could be and should be. Yeah, we definitely want to expand our outreach into the surrounding neighborhoods of Nexton, Carnes Crossroads, Cane Bay. There's a lot of people around there.
There's a lot of people. And that was what was so appealing for us, or one of the reasons why Gethsemane was such an appealing place for us to plant and invest, was because of the growth over there. There are so many people, and I forget the numbers now, but it's something like in the next 5 years, in a 5-mile radius of Gethsemane, about 90 to 100,000 people
that are
going to be in that area. I live over in that area. I'm 5 minutes from Gethsemane, and there really aren't a lot of churches over there. There's the church at Cane Bay up the street that's doing really, really well. It's a sister church of ours as far as in our Southern Baptist denomination. You have the other Northwood, not Northwood Baptist, but the Northwood Church that used to be in our neighborhood here at Northwood. That's why it's called Northwood. They were Northwood Assembly of God, and they were right across the street from us here in the Northwood area, but their church burned down. They moved up to the car. That's a long story. And they're doing well. They're a good church. But, I think about those two. And I know there's a couple other churches. I know there's a couple plants taking place in Nexton. But you think about the number of people over there.
But there has to be plants. This is not a bad thing.
No, there need to be more churches over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. 100,000 people. I mean, if every church over there, the churches that are there, if they were all full next Sunday, we would still be missing
tens of thousands
of people. And so there just needs to be a lot of healthy churches over there. And so there's a prime opportunity for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point there's probably about 10 to 15 less churches than there need to be.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's just so many people in that area and moving to that area, and there just aren't the churches.
I think right across the street from you guys, aren't they going to develop that land right across the street from y'all? Isn't that one of the goals?
Yes, that certainly is the goal. If you
see even more people,
if you're familiar with Roper Berkeley Hospital, they're building all sorts of apartments around there.
It's wild.
The hospital's building apartments.
Well, no, they're in the perimeter right outside the hospital property. Yeah. There are about 2 or 3 different apartment complexes.
Okay, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's amazing when the hospitals start building apartments.
It's a hot area, and
it is hot.
And just the need for good gospel-centered churches is really, really big. And so, I'm thinking about the next 10 years for Gethsemane is going to be really pivotal. And now as we're thinking about family of churches and what will take place with the family of churches is eventually Gethsemane will change their name to Northwood. Northwood Berkeley, I think, is kind of what we've settled on. Now, it's not a satellite church of our church or a campus. They'll continue to be an autonomous church. Jay will be the pastor, and they'll have their own staff and their own budget and all those kind of things. But the idea of a family of churches is that we share the name because it's a way of showing that we are radically partnered together. Mm-hmm. And so we'll continue to encourage people from our church to go and help. And so it's almost as if you think about it, right? Like what we want is when someone walks into Gethsemane, that they're going to say, hey, this is a lot like Northwood on Green Ridge Road, right? Similar missions, similar philosophy, similar discipleship strategy, all those kinds of things. But at the same time, a very unique and distinct church as well. And just sharing that family name, it just says to the community that these churches are in it together. Yeah. In fact, Jay and I are going to be traveling in December. We're going to Denver, Colorado.
Good.
Have you been to Denver before?
I used to live in Denver.
Did you really?
Years ago, yes.
So you're going to be our tour guide.
He's lived everywhere. You just name a place he's lived
right.
there.
Well, I mean, I can tour as much as, a 6-year-old remembers because I haven't been to Denver since I was 6. I've been to Colorado, but not to Denver.
Well, I've never been. I'm excited about it.
I did see a Broncos game.
There you go.
Back in the day. Well, it was cold.
Yeah, that's probably going to be cold. In December in Denver.
Mile High City.
My goodness.
Wow. It's going to be snow, brother.
Probably so. But we're going with Craig Tuck, who is the Director of Missions here in the Charleston area. Great friend. And we're just going to go out there and learn. There's a church called Calvary Church in Denver that has developed a family of church model there, and I think they have 50 or 60 churches in their family of church. All share the same name.
That's incredible.
All the leaders get to, in fact, when we go, we're going to go to one of their leader gatherings where the pastors of all these different churches get together and just encourage each other and talk about, how they're doing ministry together. So it's really neat and a really healthy model, and in some ways a model that we're trying to duplicate here in the Charleston area. And so Jay and I are looking forward to going there and spend a few days in December just learning from them and seeing what the potential is for us to have a greater impact in the Charleston area as we helped, because that's what's happened there. That Calvary Church was a lot like Northwood, about about like us, not a huge church, a larger church, but not a huge church, but they just made a decision to help churches live again. And so like us, they started looking for churches like Gethsemane, and over the years now, they've just seen this movement of the Spirit of God as they've been able to help lots of different churches live again. And so that's kind of the same thing we're wanting to do here in our city. And so we're going to go and learn and just see how God might duplicate something like that in the Low Country. And I'm really excited about it. So it'll be exciting over the next year to see how that develops in our community, how Gethsemane continues to flourish, and how they officially become part of the family with us. And I mean, I think for us, just having that open-handed attitude towards God, yes. Whatever you want from us, we want to be faithful to. And so I'm very thankful. I know for Jay, and what I appreciate about him and Linda, he was thriving here. He was thriving in student ministry. Everybody loves Jay. Everybody still loves Jay. I mean, he was thriving in student ministry here, and we appreciate what God allowed him to accomplish here. And so to step out of Northwood from a thriving ministry, I mean, the student ministry that he was leading along with Cody, I guess at that point, it was about 5 times bigger than the church you went to pastor.
That's true. Yes, it was.
So he left a large student ministry to go pastor a church at the time was running 20 or so people. That's a big step of faith.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm very thankful that he and Linda were willing to do that, and I know that God's blessing that. And so, man.
Can I just say something? Having been a church planter, how I wish that some church would have invested in us.
That's
like
right.
Northwood is investing in Gethsemane.
That's right.
I probably wouldn't have been here because I just think, the ability to be able to do that is huge. So, brother, I want to encourage you. There's great days ahead. Yeah. There's always going to be struggles, but there's great days ahead, and you're going to see God do incredible things. Yeah. We almost never had a year, because we're a new church, we almost never had a year we didn't baptize 20 people. Yeah. Every year, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But the point is that God does great things.
That's right.
And starts in small places and does great things. Yeah. So I just encourage you and thank you so much for what you're doing. And
I think that's the beauty.
I can't wait to see what God's
that's the beauty of what we're trying to accomplish for the sake of the kingdom. I didn't plant a church. But when I was 24, I pastored my first church, and it was a church like Gethsemane, a small, dying church out in the middle of nowhere. Right. I think we had 25 people there my first Sunday. And you know how much help I had?
Probably zero.
None.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was doing.
Same way we went and did at Utah.
That's right. And so to think about, now we get to begin to do it a little bit different. You think about Jay and the help he has from Northwood. Obviously, Jay went to Gethsemane with a lot more experience than what I went to my first pastor, but still he's got the help of Northwood. And I think about the young men we're training for ministry here at Northwood. There will come a day when we're going to be able to say, okay, we're in partnership with this church over here, and we're going to send you over there as the pastor of this church, and you're not going alone. You have Northwood behind you, supporting you. We're going to send people with you. So I think it's going to be
a team going over.
That's right. It's going to be a much healthier model, I think, to help churches grow again, and also a healthy model to give first-time pastors some experience pastoring with the help of a local church, knowing
right.
that they're not going at it alone. So I think, you think about it, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing that God does as we continue to walk by faith in this area. And I'm thankful that Jay is helping to pioneer this thing by being number one, the first guy we've tried this with, and very thankful for his wisdom and leadership, and he's doing a jam-up job.
Amen.
Not bad, man. You're doing great.
Thanks. I appreciate, I appreciate the support of you, Tommy, and Trey, and Northwood as a whole. I remember, honestly, when you kind of first pitched the idea back in the day.
It's a very attractive idea, wasn't it?
Man,
why don't you go to this dying church and see what you can do?
Yeah, I thought you were crazy. But, prayed about it, and sometimes life is full of challenges, and God can do some big things.
That's right.
Amen.
Seemingly impossible situations.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well, Jay, thank you for being here. It's been a blessing to have you, and we continuously pray for you and the people of Gethsemane and the Gethsemane Church, and you'll make an influence for the gospel. So maybe this will be a part of. I hope this little bit we do here with the podcast will help you. Be encouraged and just keep at it. Keep on serving the Lord.
That's right.
Obey Him. Pastor, why don't you close this and get us ready for
All
next
right.
week?
Well, I do thank you for listening today, and I hope what you heard has been a blessing and encouragement to you. If it has been, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can have new content delivered to your device every single week. Leave us a 5-star review. That helps us get word out about the podcast. And as always, we hope today's episode has helped you connect faith to life.